I was just thinking, what a nice day for...
She looks at...
Pretty. Looks like a dried Maybell. Is that the one you caught? Sambo style? All right. I like it sudden. I was just thinking.
Who? She probably did.
There may be ground.
A little whimper. The young woman hears you.
I did. There was an older...
That is, anyone could...
What time did
Thursday night.
it checks out?
But I know the time of the call too. I know I have not been 100%.
I agree.
Okay. Okay, it's not. You log your work every week. Like I lied before. No. It's submerged in a plastic buoy on the coast, in the reeds. It just...
Falsified document.
Passport and visa.
Why would it?
I didn't show up to a rendezvous west of the buoy. It's useless.
The lieutenant.
You're welcome to it. It's Katarzyna Elysium.
It's a Grad name. Jimsk or Yugo Grad in origin. Not Oxid. It also makes Klasia almost an
It was a sentiment.
a nickname.
A teenage boy. 1,000,000 years ago. My parents were Zhimsk immigrants, but I'm nationalized Oranese. I haven't said it aloud in such a long time.
She's filling dead air. Can't stand the silence.
I am.
Yes, they can. For lying. She nods. Her back straight.
But I haven't done anything.
She purpose fucking. That's right, gang. Stern and the lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs.
Please no.
But there's nowhere to go.
I think I know who did it.
She knows something. She's silent for a second.
Ruby. She has this thing for sex. When I started...
I don't understand.
She said she's
And you led her on?
a little.
This is just an assumption.
I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. Somehow, she...
This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby...
She came over one night, and she's a pro.
Some of that fear is... What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her.
You've been through there, right? She could have come to the room.
Then slipped back.
Interesting.
Yes, of course.
Okay, arrest. She's stuck here. Her. Stop letting her distract you.
Still? After all this, but I don't deserve...
She's gearing up for a lot.
I don't know. You have the station. I know you can do.
You do have the form.
By God, she's playing him too. She looks at you. Wait. Shut up. He's making a decision, and it's his to make.
I won't, sir.
She's slow. You are. This is not the end of this.
Lies.
Yes, we demand she be punished for deceiving us. We demand her anxiety. We demand... She slowly. Two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman having sex. A ray of backward motion explodes from his mouth to the roof outside. A prime. To then, two neon-lit.
Yes? What?
Again? I can't believe this shit. Again? I can't believe...
You know what it is. It's like the two of you know each other.
Oh, I definitely...
Another life.
Yes, from another life. To what station do you think you would belong in this alternate...
He seems to be observing you. Repeating it gets no reaction. Repeating it gets no reaction from them.
That's exactly... No, not really. Okay. Somewhere good. Okay. Let's be crazy. No, because in this thought experiment, we're all police officers in a police station. We don't do crimes.
Come on. Stop it.
Oh, no. You see, I enjoy watching other.
This isn't helping.
You're not going... Yes, sir. Just some regular boring Oh, it's you. Not even a little...
It's an urban myth about an officer who is so far undercover he can't remember who he is.
Okay, yes, you get the joke.
Neither can I.
Okay, the man with the sunglasses and his hypothetical Station 41. Weird, right? There's something missing here. Something you can't put our finger on. You know what? Just ask him. I know it sounds crazy, and you'll probably get laughed at. But yes, just cross...
Again? I can't believe this shit. I'm going to say no. Just to see what you'll say to that. Okay?
Jean, he said okay.
Okay, I was clearly wrong. He is a firefighter, male nurse, animal control agent, something of that kind. Not a cop. Go on with your cop work. Don't let me stop you again.
I'm going to say God fucking shit.
Okay, I was
Hey, was there another thing? Great. I love those. Oh, okay. Well, I did hear you make noise back there, so good for you.
He's really holding himself back here.
Okay, what is back there? Ha! I knew it. I've always wondered where those machines by the door came from. And they told me there was some kind of pinball thing here too. I knew it. Were there any back there? In working order, I mean. No, I was just wondering if you found pinball machines there.
He was wondering about something business related, about how much money he could make off one.
Those machines are whirling property. But if it makes you feel any better, I'm not planning to sell them. It wouldn't hurt to get a little life in here. Other than the hellish karaoke machine. That one's always causing trouble.
Yeah, those numbers he's adding up must be making good sense to him right now.
What? Why would you say that? We're at a completely different address from that whole thing.
So he knows of the doomed commercial area and its address. He's thought about this.
I've been working here for a long time, and that intercom has never been used by the Whirling. Does this look like part of a doomed commercial area? This pre-revolutionary tilework? These high ceilings? The nice rooms? Well, most of the rooms. For 14 years, man. That's how long I've worked here. I've kept this place up through hail and through sleet. Fuck me, if some doom ghost... Some real estate management company. They never come around here, just collect money from afar. Honestly, I think some money laundering might be involved. Well, it sure as hell wasn't the real estate company.
It was you?
You look surprised. What? It's a great name, I know. Cafeteria managers come up with great names too. It's from a song. Hail, Holy Queen, by the Ateniers. Hail, Holy Queen of the Sea. You're whirling in rags, you're vast and you're sad.
Good pick.
Yeah, it's slowly growing on me again. It's beautiful in its own way, especially for this neighborhood. I've been trying to keep it that way. Even if it is part of the damn doomed commercial area. Yes, your police skills have delivered. I'm sure you'll get a commendation, maybe even a promotion. Whatever. Was there anything else? Because I need to think about how I'm going to get those pinballs in here. Why? No, fuck it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know why these degenerates do what they do. I thought we had one good guest in the building. Yeah, well, she's not a guest, is she? Anyway, I'll forward that woman her bill and be done with it. Now, was there anything else? Yes?
It's you again. What is it? Why? You're cuckoo, cop. I'm the only man responsible for this unit. Get with it, or fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off!
Sounds like you're making her a suspect in this. Not on my watch, you're not. Ruby's one of us. We're not gonna throw her under your moral intern steamroller. Fuck that shit.
And fuck you too, moral
Ruby is missing. If you hide from the police in a murder investigation, you become a suspect. You know how it works, guys.
That's nothing. That's just legalese. You don't even have a sound theory. I don't want to be rude, but we're trying to get some R&R here. Think you could fuck off now?
I think we'll keep sticking around, Titus. You'll be surprised at how quickly a theory presents itself if you keep looking.
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze. Floor plans, bullet trajectories, webs of human emotion, all channeled into a single thought.
Because she was here, all night, with us.
He's cobbling together shit so he can put her away. It's Cop 101.
She was here all night? 11:30 to 12:15? She was here during all that time?
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
No.
That's a lie.
All right, she took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out, too. She has a complex operation to run from her lorry. She's a busy girl. Always has been.
This complex operation is probably something illegal.
Just 'cause she was gone for 5 minutes doesn't mean she magically got to the roof and shot the merc. I've been through this. It's not plausible.
He's been through it. That means he suspected her too. All right, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof.
Why not? You can't draw a straight line into Clausia's window from any of the surrounding buildings. Not from what I know about Martinez. Maybe from the coast. But like I said, I've been too busy dealing with you idiots. So no, I don't think it was a sniper. It was close up. 72%. There's a percentage and all. Where'd you get it from? Your guys in the lab?
Definitely lie. The truth is not credible.
Wouldn't hurt to have one of those in Martinez. Still, all the labs in the world don't put her on that roof. How'd she get there? Climbed? I've seen the winch. I'm not blind. You saying she reeled herself up by her collar, like some kind of...
Kidding?
Let's go with that. Point is, it's just a rusty winch. It doesn't put her on the roof. Garbage. It wasn't a Sambo artist collar. I've been doing this for 10 years. Let me give you a lesson.
It's never a Sambo fighter, and it's never a bullet-bending sniper.
Or ghost. It's never a ghost either. Don't worry, we've got better than that.
How? People say there was a pinball arcade here, sometime before the hostel. What was it called, Theo?
East Delta Pinball Arcade. Weird place. Went bankrupt.
Okay, but how'd you get up? There's no room for a staircase in this building. Or an elevator, for that matter.
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down from the workshop. Thank you.
The lieutenant is glad he got the floor plan right there.
Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down. All under 7 minutes.
That's quite the theory. We need to have a look at that secret passage, boys.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Angus are going up there.
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift. How about I go instead of...
Just now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it? Right. What the fuck does that got to do with Ruby? God damn it, Cobb. Are you kidding me? You know it was no goddamn pinball murderer.
Just a thought experiment. Let's go on.
Footprints. Recent.
The tracks were recent, but not worn down in the right foot like Ruby's. It's best to omit this pesky little polemic for now. Too confusing.
That close, huh? How fortunate. I'll take a thorough look at those prints myself before I believe that call. Good news is, I'm still listening. I don't like guessing, Cole. No one does.
It opens the steel door in the kitchen, the one that leads upstairs to the roof. This key was right here, with you, all the time.
Quit jumping to conclusions, Theo. You took that key. Did it look like it was recently put there?
Now, the ribbon was old, faded. It'd have been there for 20 years at least.
Why? This doesn't make sense. It's damn interesting, but it doesn't fit well, and you know it.
It doesn't fit well, but it fits, and he knows it.
Firmly doesn't go well with could've. There's a route to the roof. Me and the boys need to check it out. That's what we've established. But a route does not put that bullet in his head. A gun does that, and Ruby doesn't carry one.
Phase 2. Murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt. In the shape of a gun. Just don't contradict yourself. If it doesn't sound like Ruby did it, maybe keep it to yourself. But what if you miss interesting information that way? The choice is ultimately yours. But
That looks antique. A Velma grave. It's inoperable. Where'd you get it?
20, maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were too many. And there must be other caches too.
God damn it. We need to close that dump down for good.
Okay, I see your point. There are guns lying around. Damn it. I thought we'd found all the old spots. Why was that still there?
We just missed one. Ruby doesn't know this place, boss. Just these cops digging up shit.
Look, fucko. Ruby and I are pretty tight. She would have showed me the gun if she had one. She knows I love guns.
Yeah, everyone knows Glenn loves guns.
I don't know, Glenny. Ruby's a little secretive, isn't she? Wasn't like she told you every little thing.
look who's finally speaking. Retty's been uncharacteristically quiet since you started theorizing. Maybe he has something to gain from implicating her.
Nah, this kind of heat is not easy to come by. It took us some time to get gunned up to where we are now.
Still, he's thinking about it now. And he knows gunning up has nothing to do with this.
Yes, goddammit, I know what a 72% chance means. It means there's a 28% chance it isn't that.
Just making sure we are on the same page. It doesn't all fit. We are just sharing info, candidly.
You lost your gun?
What an idiot!
Tell me, did you lose it before the murder? No, you didn't. And Ruby didn't use your lost gun to kill him.
Stop thinking about your lost gun, damn it. You'll get a heart attack.
This was merely a thought exercise. He did not lose his gun. Let's move on.
I don't know, cop. Why don't you find your lost gun first?
Easy now, Al. This isn't comedy hour.
Titus, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this. Why would she do something like this?
Phase 3. Motive. The last component.
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it? The hanging. You went along, but she suggested it.
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
Really, Shanks? Closio wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan if I'd have been first.
Time for a logics demonstration. He scoffs.
Think. You kill him. Get up there. Shoot him. Get down.
The man is silent.
If she used us to cover her own shit up, well, that's a serious violation of the Hardy Code.
Which is why she didn't. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This is fucking stupid, Titus.
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left us in this shit.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good.
Yeah, like what?
The big man falls absolutely silent. Behind his squinting eyes, dominoes are falling. Fast. It's all beginning to make sense to him now.
Yeah, but they're both girls.
Girls like girls too, Angus, sometimes. This is one of those times. She liked Glacier.
Fuck you. First he says she's murdered him. Now she's a too? It's a lie.
Come on, Glenn. She likes Monica's titties more than you do. Everyone knows which way the wind blows there.
I did. I knew it. That's why she didn't fuck me at Fatty's birthday party.
She didn't fuck you, 'cause you're 40, and you still live with your mom, Dennis.
Ruby then threatened her and told her to end her relationship with the deceased.
This is some sordid shit. It's also the kind of garbage our Miss Aronier puts out to cover her own ass.
Sort of, but he doesn't have to know that.
That Ruby is queer as cabaret. Now that I start thinking about it, I don't know why I didn't see it earlier. And that's okay. Some are queerer than others. You can still be a Hardy. But if you bring your own personal shit into our outfit...
And then, boss, use us to cover it up? I mean, that's just fucked up.
If it's true. But it's not. Right?
There's no fucking leadership challenge. Just when I thought you were taking this seriously, cop, you put your head in your ass.
Man, now he's just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks.
Okay. We ruled out infighting. That's how this works, by exclusion. Remember, all we need to do is rule Ruby out too. That's all this is.
Nah, man. That's just Ruby. She's got shit under control. That's her whole thing. That's why she's so good.
Plus, man, it's like female intuition, you know. Women talk to women. Which is sort of why we need someone on the team who they talk to.
Eugene wants a woman on the team so they can do their job. That must be hard. Half of Martinez is female.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking has no place in a police investigation. A more serious consideration that you wish to avoid is that she knew what happened because she did it.
Nah, man.
Plus, man,
Eugene wants a woman on the team so they can do their job. That must be hard.
Not so useful.
Fucking hell.
You had expressed, on occasion, your dislike of the mercenaries' presence in Martinez, right?
Whack someone in my district? That doesn't carry much favor with Titus Hardy. She has to know that.
Silence. He looks around the room. old man in the corner nods.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. Ever since you asked me where she is. Add it to your list of suspicions, if you won't. I don't know. I don't know where she went. She just got up and left. Got real scared, too. Wouldn't tell me where. However hard I asked. Wanna know why? She was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now, I probably would.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior, why fleeing is always incriminatory.
Perhaps. Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy, though. She made sure of that. Friday afternoon, when you first arrived, I got word the RCM was in town. Then she came in to see me. Told me she was leaving. I told you. You. Yes, you. The cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes. Sure. Normal. You know, when I first saw you limping here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But now I'm not so sure. She said you have a funny taste in clothes and that you won't stop until you have something on her. She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener, that you play suspects against each other, open them up like cans.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it, whack him, or we can go on with our lives. I'm having a go on with our lives kind of day, Al. How about you?
Silence. He nods.
You are insistent.
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to. It was burning on her lips. This called Titus, this called Pete. But she was too scared.
Scared? You should be too. A strange fear creeps over you. A metallic taste in your mouth. Change the subject.
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take her lorry, so she's on foot.
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this place like the back of her hand. You'll never find her.
Yeah, Al, and we won't either.
She's not really a hardy candidate anymore, is she?
She's not, Glenn. A little. On the coast.
Where have you looked for her, more precisely?
More precisely, on the coast, past the waterlock. She's not here, so I'm thinking she's there.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
Lizzie needed some air. No one goes to tell Everard anything. He knows what he has to know. Fast.
It's called a radio, you believe. The gardener may have played you a game when she stormed out. She has her own plan.
Sure, there are some shithouses there. A cinder block town. Fisherfolk there refuse to unionize. So, that's one place we haven't looked. I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash. Time for you to step up.
We will start there. One more question. What does Ruby look like?
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a Lowry man. It'll have to.
His grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. You know I don't usually do this, I just measure things. But
No, we're good.
Why not? You could turn the thing into an actual police force. Afraid you would actually have to follow the law?
Rich boy law is a sham. It only works for the Wild Pines, lady. So keep your lab and watch your ass out there. The coast is a dangerous place for lawmen, especially Mr. Can Opener here.
a small mountain.
Wonderful choice, if you say so.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the speaker.
Good afternoon. Please repeat. Is this the production shed Fortress Accident? One more Fortress Accident SCR.
That's not bad.
Any other? Good. Please repeat the password. Good. I've unlocked.
Really?
Fortress Accident. Is there anything else I can do for you? Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still with a quiet determination. The printer starts It's a project. The first few pages in its short. The first eventually, let's just say it was a fortress and a single. Why did Fortress Accident have so many concept artists? The first few pages give an overview of the capital. Fortress and a single. Why did it didn't? No. One of them even managed to steal some valuable company property. The production skit, not the concept. It was impossible. They thought that they couldn't. No. Even then, success remained within an ever-narrowing margin of possibility that, despite everything, never entirely disappeared. That is, until they discovered the Valley of the Heads. At the 11th hour, this place was to be the Valley of the Heads, where the heads of the world had never so many. The last count, there were approximately. Do you really want to know? The lieutenant taps. What if you broke the radio computer? And that's it. Well, yeah, that and the catastrophic data loss. On the nature of the data, what is clear is that one day, an unidentified when the project, the team spent weeks on the phone with Lintel, always, and let's face it, mysterious, it was the I didn't have a home anymore. So I start her former, the production schedule ends with a few random notes that seem to be added sometime. The production schedule, it was impossible. They tried, they thought they couldn't. No, you couldn't have. Definitely not. Not at, even then, that is, until they, no. At the, this place was to be so many. Well, yeah, that. On the nature, what is clear is that the team spent weeks on the phone. Mysteriously, it was the lead I didn't have a home anymore. The production schedule 4 months later by an unknown author. I am the only one left, and it's gotten rather damp here. A few other businesses have gone up. Still haven't. I have compared the coordinates to Sandbloom 1147. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a dye? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. Ah, yes. Fortress accident. It's too bad they never finished their game. The Wiro Untethered die is a variation of a standard role-playing die. Only, instead of plants, it uses motifs of ice and death. And loss, of course.
Ice, death, loss. Sounds like you.
I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours. It's an icositetrahedron, a 24-sided die that can produce results for 2-sided, 3-sided, 4-sided, 6-sided, and 12-sided die with a single roll. Technically, you can also use it for many other sizes, but you may need to reroll results.
Loving it. So nifty.
Untreated bone is porous and prone to chipping. Cast it in something hard like resin though, and voila, it's perfect. Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else? I'm sorry. I'm a bit overloaded just now, so I can only produce 1 die per customer.
In your hands, you hold the cover. The exact location and time period are left deliberately. The box, even before you open it, the plastic, there's a hiss as the lids. Welcome to the instruction. You soon figure out that's what each turn as you leaf through. Remember, the actual scoring system appears infinitely. You open up a number. Each card.
What?
In addition, from the end.
Oh, those are nice.
You hold the open game box before the lieutenant looks open.
Holy sh! I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he does not appreciate your attitude. Have you tried goading him?
In your dreams, maybe. I've thrashed my share of trash talkers before. Now come on, let's put childish things aside.
At this point, plain badgering may be your best bet.
All right, detective, you win. How do we play this game?
You explain the basics. In the center, apricots from... There's also a neat... The lieutenant...
All right.
You have a few... Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You move a few of your workers to
an aggressive up
in response.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough. Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors. Game designers, I imagine? There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Belt. But that's obviously nonsense. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions. That's just the way it is. Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict. Those aren't your only. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones, well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy. But then, using your powers of persuasion, you can, after several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points. Take a look at the scoring tables in the back. You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas... Yes.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, now it's the lieutenant's. For several turns, you struggle to respond. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large sum. You know, this isn't unlike the situation. Well, by introducing cocaine, if you could, yes, you've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of course. As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly
more or less.
Realizing the end, or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers. The choice is yours. Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you complete rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off. Don't be sorry. Now, let's tally up the score.
Computing the final scores is almost after double, then triple 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be.
I've got 26 points. Don't be glum. Now,
You hold the open gate. In your hand, the cover, the exact look, the book, even before the plastic, there's a hiss. Welcome to the You soon figure out that that's what each turn as you leave. Remember, the actual scoring system appears. You open up a number. Each cardboard.
What?
In addition, from the Empire.
Oh.
You hold the lieutenant.
Holy sh! I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time.
What? Does the lieutenant The lieutenant gives you a salve. Have you tried?
In your dreams, maybe.
At this point.
Alright, detective. You win. I see you bring the same unorthodox technique to playing. When I thrash you, I want to make sure it's by the book.
The lieutenant flips through the manual more quickly than you're able to keep up with. Then you each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre. There's also a neat little log to keep. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of.
Alright, detective.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
The lieutenant, come on. Is that your game face? Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or, those aren't you could also, well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you. Who cares about workers or territories when the real action is in Revachon? You spend your turns fulfilling contracts for sweet coins and one-time bonuses. After several turns, you have a neat pile of cardboard coins and several units of archaeological treasure, which you trade in to build a museum. You place a cylindrical piece of wood on the Revachol section in the middle of the board. It's meant to stand in for a beautifully adorned edifice filled with ancient wonders. This is more or less what happened in real life as well. To this day, if Ilmarans want to see their nation's priceless treasures, they have to visit Revachol, or Gottwald, or Sur-le-Clay.
Well played, detective. That museum is worth 3 victory points.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. For several turns, you draw a new, this isn't, well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine. By introducing cocaine into Safre, if you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers, yes, you can. It's right. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? With each passing turn, as a matter of historical fact,
more or less,
realize the end, or do you alternatively? The choice is yours. The lieutenant nods gravely as you erect tariffs against his apricots and sugar. This is going to get ugly. With every turn, tariffs are raised until neither you nor the lieutenant are producing any income. or generating resources for the suzerain. Even in the best of cases, it's impossible to really win a trade war. But this is far from the best case, and the lieutenant's apricot-powered economic engine crushes yours. Soon, your coffers are empty, and the map lies strewn with your worker token.
I hope you learned your lesson. Never fuck with Kim Kitsuragi. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score, -5 victory points. You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole...
I've got 15 points. Don't look too glum, detective. Now let's clean up.
You hold the open... In your hand, the cover, the exact, the book, even the plastic, there's a hiss. Well, you soon figure out that's what each turn as you leaf through. Remember, the actual scoring system appears. You open up each card.
What?
In addition, from the Empire.
Oh.
You hold the lieutenant.
Holy sh! I'm not sure we can afford to say.
What? The lieutenant gives you a set. Have you tried?
In your dreams, maybe.
At this point.
All right, detective. I see you bring one F.
The lieutenant in the apricot. There's also the lieutenant goes first.
All right.
You have a few. Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You move a few of your workers to the Ilmarats.
An aggressive opening, detective.
In response.
That's a market. It's worth...
Come on, glancing at those, you could also... Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you. Who cares about workers after you place a cylinder? This is more or less what happened in...
Well played.
Now, for several, you draw, this is, well, by introducing cocaine. If you could somehow, yes, you've reached a critical... with each as a matter of historical...
Moral.
Realize the end, or do you... Alternatively, the choice is yours. Building the ultimate structure requires diligent rather than
a risky gambit, detective. Don't be now
computing after 15.
I've got 20. Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time. Now let's...
You hold the open... In your hands, the cover, the exact look, the book, even before the plastic, there's a hiss. Welcome, you soon, that's what each, as you remember, the actual scorings, you open up each,
what?
Each cardboard token.
What?
In addition, from the
Oh.
You hold the suzerainty, the lieutenant.
Holy shit, I'm not sure we can afford to set aside.
What? The lieutenant gives you what is detective work, if not an elaborate game?
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat...
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
All right. You've convinced me.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take in the center is the apricots from... There's also the lieutenant.
All right.
You have a few... Remember what the rulebook said. You move a few of your...
An aggressive opening.
In response...
That's a market. It's...
Come on. It's glancing over. Those aren't your only. You could also show... Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy. Who cares about work? After several turns, you have a new place. As this is more or less
well played, detective.
Now, for several turns, you draw and, this isn't well by introducing cocaine. If you could, yes, you've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? With each as a matter of historical fact.
More or less.
Realize the end, or do you? Alternatively, the choice is yours. The lieutenant nods. With every turn, even in the best of cases, soon your coffers are empty.
I hope you learned your lesson. Never fuck with Kim Kitsuragi. Now, let's...
Computing the final scores is almost a game. After double, then triple -5 victory points. You'll be lucky if the...
I've got 15 points. Don't look too glad. Now...
You hold the open game box before you. In your head, the cover, the exact look, the plastic, you open up each card.
What?
In addition, from the Empire.
Oh.
You hold the welcome to the you soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator. There is no path to wealth and renown, but through the suzerain. As one of that's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game, each turn, as you leaf through the page, remember, there are many. The actual scoring system, the lieutenant.
Holy, I'm not sure we can afford to set.
What? The lieutenant gives you a. Have you tried?
In your dreams, maybe.
At this point, plain.
All right. I see you bring the when I throw.
The lieutenant in the apricot. There's also the lieutenant.
All right.
You have a few. Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You move
an aggressive
in response.
That's a market.
Come on, glancing over those, you could also. Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective using you after several turns.
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back. You see in table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not yes.
Now, for several, you draw a new, this isn't, you've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? Instead of...
You do realize, I don't think...
The lieutenant, the end, you could continue, or alternatively, the choice is yours. Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, rather than build
a risky gambit that might have... Now...
Computing after double, 15 victory points. The suzerain will not...
I've got 26 points. Don't be glum, detective. Now, let's...
You hold the...
Yes?
In your head, the cover, the exact look, the even the plastic visit. You open each card.
What?
In addition, from the end.
Oh.
You hold the open welcome, the use. That's where each as you leave. Remember the act welcome, the you soon figure out the bait. There is no. That's each as you leaf through the actual score. The lieutenant.
Holy, I'm not sure we can afford to set.
What? Does the lieutenant gives you a have you
in your dreams, maybe.
At this point.
All right, detective. you win. I see you bring the same. When I thrash you, I want
The lieutenant in the center. Apricots. There's also the lieutenant.
All right.
You have a few. Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. You move a few of your workers to the Ilmarat section of the board and several...
An aggressive opening, Detective.
In response, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar tokens and 1 of his...
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry, it was mostly just luck.
Come on, glancing over. Those aren't your... You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're... Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
That's up to you, Detective. But remember, the object you should probably pick one strategy and stick to it. Trying to do a little of everything is usually a bad idea. The workers are just there to produce raw resources. You're not supposed to worry about them too much.
Who cares about what after you place as this is more or less
well played.
Now, for several you draw, this isn't well by introducing. If you could yes, you've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
You can't do that, Detective. Well, I suppose you could try fulfilling some contracts. Or you might try to relocate your workers.
It's true. Had you read the rules more carefully, this would have been abundantly clear. With each, as a matter of historical fact,
moral,
realize the end, or do you ignore? Alternatively, the choice is yours. Building the ultimate structure rather than
the risk that might happen now.
Computing after 15.
I've got 26. Don't be glum, Detective. Now let's clean up.
You hold.
I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. Feels like being on recon again. I prefer the old name, Insulindian Lily. Girls bought them to young cadets when they entered service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck. You know what? No. They brought me misery, false hope, and disappointment. The revolutionaries sullied them.
But it wasn't the revolutionaries that sullied the ID for you, was it? She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
She must be the woman from that picture, Jean-Marie.
Enough! I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston, but not while we have company. So, officers.
Maybells don't blossom yet, do they?
Maybe on some remote parts of the city they do. But I think you'll have to wait for at least a month. I like playing in the dark. Sharpen.
All you observe,
This is it.
Don't you mean Frisk?
You do not speak his name.
there's something you missed. You will get to it.
I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your...
As Rene turns from you to his partner, two. The larger one is shaped like a crowned head in front of it. It's the Croix de Bravour, a small blue star inside an orange sun. The setting sun was a
For bravery. I'm sure, but I know this uniform's reputation. You are also wondering if I got this for raping women or killing babies. Son, we should never forget our past. Lots of mistakes were made back then, but there were also lessons. Forgetting those times means the mistakes were for nothing. That all those people died for nothing.
Whoa. Sounds like you're about to open the gates of conversation. This man will literally talk your ear off if you let him wander off to memory lane.
For doing my duty in the...
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front.
It was on the first month of King Frisson. Alas,
He really despises that Drissant.
Purple velvet tunic.
to keep the law, the rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was Cap. I got shot in the left shoulder, then his horse. Driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder. Stepped. I grabbed my sidearm and shot.
Capitaine Arnoux, le fléau des chevaux.
The bane of horse.
When I came to, the Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one. Right. So I grabbed the prick and started crawling. Kept through some miracle. We both survived. He was the commanding officer and...
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than anyone's duty. It's in his spine, in his billowing breasts, and untarnished self-worth. The old carabinier stands quiet.
What Monseigneur Modesty is not telling you is that he crawled over 7 kilometers before the cavalrymen found him and Drissant, and that even while crawling with a mangled half-dead prince on his back, he still managed to murder 3 rebels.
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there.
Sorry, officer, but you're reading me all wrong. I'm a man of peace, and these kinds of bloody harassment.
He's lying.
How did you find the story to be, officer? Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. Oh no, you have to get shot. Repeatedly. And you need to get your hands bloody too.
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Poltroon. Duty is something you will never understand. Because he was a goddamn dandy, royal-blooded...
Whoa, man, it is not. The old...
What? And...
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself.
Bon Dieu.
Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. Oh,
do not speak of what you know nothing. Bah! There were many such stories in...
Oh, yes, René, yes.
I'm not getting into this with you again.
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be anything worth mentioning among your achievements. You should resort to good old lying. The carabiner stares at you with a frown. Doesn't look like he's buying it.
Please stop. Son, I don't know why you're feeding me this horse shit, but I'm not biting. I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. Feels like this.
All you observe is
This is a uniform.
Don't you?
You do not.
there's something you missed.
I like playing in the dark. Sharp.
As Rene turns from you to his partner and back. 2. The setting.
For bravery, I'm sure. Son, forgetting those.
Whoa. Sounds.
For doing.
He saved.
It was on King, alas.
He really purple.
To keep the rebels first. I got shot in then his horse. I grabbed.
Captain.
The bane of.
When I came, the Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But this, so I grabbed Susa. He was the commanding.
You sense he's downplaying.
Because royal.
Whoa. It is not the old.
What? And
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there.
Maybe, but oh,
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Outrun.
The old.
what? And
Is that.
sorry,
He's.
how did you find it? Maybe, oh,
Do not speak of what you know. Bah!
oh,
I'm not.
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress them. Go long. Go deep. Go unconventional.
Sure, officer. Let's. I'm not following you.
He'll get it. Don't worry. Just continue. He's gonna be impressed. The man stares at you. The carabiner crosses his arms and spits in the crater.
You're talking about getting blackout shit-faced drunk and going into delirium.
The lieutenant looks up from his notes and nods to the old carabiner.
How so, then?
The lieutenant sighs.
And I thought getting my knee shattered and surviving on rat carcasses in the trench was bad. Here.
Your sarcasm will be your undoing, old man.
Of course not.
The veteran of numerous armed conflicts.
Was there something else you wanted to take from us?
I don't think there was anything else I wanted.
I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. Feels like being on recon again. I I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. Feels like being on recon again.
There. Working class drunk. You know what this means, right? Cracked it. All in a good day's work. What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is. Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit. Didn't she repeatedly tell you her husband isn't Misinda? Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later. There's no need for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go and tell the working class woman what you found. The trap is full of locusts, but they seem weak.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Because she's blind, which you seem to have forgotten.
This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. Aye, that you are, Dark Omen. Help yourself and your organization. Help the storm clouds gather on the horizon. There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something?
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too. As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's the edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched. Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below. Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand though. You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper. A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber. The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded. Ready to fight some cops.
Our tenant, the policeman. Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
But you didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability.
Yes, early with the dogs. Around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
I cleaned it, like I always do. No.
The truth, sire.
She's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cross a few lines. But this time, she mostly stayed in her room. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun. Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset. She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself, the way some people do. I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater.
The Feld electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
What more do you want to know about that poor girl? Yes, let's say one thing. She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack, in that church tower maybe.
Why single out this one building? Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there in the dusk hour, with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it. In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs. And then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
A rusty ladder leads.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180? Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Even if it isn't, no one told you.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. On second thought, because you're just standing there squeezing your buttocks and nothing is happening.
You're not. Please, don't try to climb the building. We'll get in another way.
The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Okay, well, that's impressive, but...
Bang! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear...
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. In the darkness, you can barely make out the falling snow.
It's a great place to hide, certainly, but there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grains sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Some radical or radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the commoners built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door.
What do you mean who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak.
hope no one did. After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before. Yes. It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. No, but you are the sensitive one.
It's not a quib. The situation is dangerous.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
We absolutely cannot skip that appointment. Consider that 100% confirmed. I fear you'll need your gun for this.
His hand rests on his holster. It's not enough. You need a gun in your hand too. Your gun.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the setting, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways. No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all the previous ones.
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, he'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field. Wow, check out the big brains on you. You're not entirely wrong. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength parabolon. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream. Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops, and of herself merely as prey.
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Damn this.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She's carrying a 2-barreled front loader. Remain careful. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, be careful when you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now. Hardy for one.
This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands of ultra-high frequencies.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, well, I guess I always knew she was a survivor above all else. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? Oh, fuck. Took some convincing my ass. Those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to people who people like. How the fuck did the rest of you get by? I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me. Fuck them all the same. Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me. And definitely not a reason to off someone. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but I don't think she's perjuring herself.
I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Look, fuck you, man. I might also have stopped by the bar.
She speaketh truth.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain. No. Not since I was 14 and hanging out in the only diner in Dardenne. Haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why? Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries. Not murder mysteries either, if that's what you're thinking.
She looks you in the eye, impassively, making it clear that she's not planning to comment on the matter any further.
Cool. They sent a ghost cop after me. Congratulations. The fuck do elevators have to do with anything? Not particularly. Why are you so hung up on elevators?
That's a pretty good question, actually. She clearly doesn't know anything about this.
I'm not really into old shit for old shit's sake.
God damn it!
Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
And the gun store, Trigger Happy Jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
The breach order?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
A knocked-away 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. Yeah, evidence. I considered her a good friend, yeah. What the hell, man? Yeah, why not? I've gotten worse.
Her hand slipped from the dial of the compressor for a moment, almost turning it down. Then she put her hand back. Not yet.
Oh, so that's where you were going with this. That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts who didn't want to catch up with us, and we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Clausy was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it.
Clausy only said they maybe kissed. Someone is lying here.
If that's what she wants on the record, so be it. I'm not about to go into details for you to jerk off to later.
Really? Is that blood on the ground before you? Are your ears bleeding?
Yeah, really? She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on. Yeah, one time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried to blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy.
By the way, DeLorean tragedies are still held in high regard for innovation in language and motifs. They are also known for overwrought emotions leading to catastrophic outcomes.
Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer. Go ahead. It's your body. Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar. No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too. No, I did not. Yeah? Where? How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
Alright, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasha comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
She looks shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed.
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys.
She lied to you about that, too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop. That strange, distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of yourself.
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for me?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre.
All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you. I don't know. Sounds pretty convincing to me.
Right. Sure. You don't know. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You know what I did. I fucked him over. And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally.
Well, this has been a great talk, really. But I think I'm going to hit the road now.
She needs it. You better make a move soon.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. And I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer.
Glad to have been of assistance. Best of luck to you, officers.
The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
All things considered, it could have gone worse. No, I don't think she did it. She's someone else's case now.
It's too late now, anyway. She's gone.
Now we have to come up with a really good excuse for why we walked right into a trap like that. This isn't going to look good in the report. Her tent. Maybe there's something in there.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. It's like 1,000 radio stations.
I know your feelings can't say it.
As she says the word officer. That's an awful decision.
No, I'm used. Wow. A pit signal. So, Chris, at the.
She.
Yeah. I stuck with. Yeah. I built it myself.
That's illegal.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, let's.
So she thinks of you as Hunter.
If you've. God damn fine.
She's well. There's only three. Be careful when you make your move.
I heard you in the past. So you found my. This could have.
That's her.
No. Who ratted me? Oh, but she couldn't have known. Bible? What? Oh, how the fuck did the rest? I did, didn't I? Like what?
A strong monk.
I didn't like him. Plenty of broken people. You think I was envious of his con? Yeah, sure.
I hate to be.
I'm listening. Man, yeah. Wow, don't know it.
Evaluating.
The shot could.
She has a.
And? Sure don't.
Agreed?
No.
This is such.
Sure don't.
Agreed?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
I knocked away the gun store. Trigger happy. What did you think? Yeah. I considered her. Oh, that's a very.
The lieutenant.
Okay, fine.
Claudia only said things.
If that's what she wants on the record.
Really? Is that blood?
Yeah. She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it, move on. Yeah, I was a little...
By the way, Deloria, her hand slipped from the duck.
Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. Go ahead. Who doesn't? The views, yes, I'm sure. No. So now I'm leaving. I never did understand. No, I did not. Who doesn't? It's very powerful. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah? Where? How should I?
Those ring.
Who hasn't? He was still warm.
She
It's okay.
All right. She's 6 steps. Oh, yeah. No, she asked.
You made it look like.
What?
She looks.
Yeah. She
lied.
Yeah. As I keep. War?
She doesn't.
Fuck it. I'm not. I saw.
So that's.
Yes.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head. Fucking. It's especially bad.
Everyone in Jamrock.
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name.
Right. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't.
I'm sure, love. You know what.
Wait, one thing.
Yeah, you had your. Well, it wasn't this scrawny. Well, this has been a.
She means it. You better make it.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been.
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. The violet white noise becomes even more overwhelming closer to the compressor. Feels.
Officer, are you okay?
The pain intensifies.
What are you doing? I told you. Look, I know this is.
She knows about the tribunal.
Tribunal is an awfully fancy word for what they're going to do. Now they're going to put on a show before meting out punishment. Even though those assholes gave me up. And you. I'm guessing you don't know that a third mercenary has come to town just in time for the tribunal. Now you do.
If one Hornet can kill 40 honeybees in a minute, then 3 Hornets should be able to kill 120 honeybees in a minute or more, since they'll also be covering one another.
The third.
As I said, watch out.
The pain is becoming unbearable now.
Glad to have been of it.
The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel. Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being...
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or I can't say it.
As she says the word, that's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it?
I'm using a pale signal that's so precise at the up.
She likes telling you.
I built it myself. That's it. Oh yeah. No. Yeah, I stuck my... Yeah, let's...
So she thinks of you as hunters.
If you've got... Fine.
She's carrying well. There's only be careful when you make your move. That'll be it.
I heard you and so you found so nice.
As opposed to the other.
This could have...
That's her.
No, I did. Who ratted me out? Oh, but she couldn't have...
Titus.
Well, how the fuck did I did? What shit?
A strong mob.
I didn't like him. You think I was envious? Plenty of broken people who don't come with... Yeah, sure.
I hate to be the bearer.
I'm listening. Man, yeah, and I'm... Look.
She's...
Wow. No, why? Yeah, and probably some ghosts. Not murder mystery.
She looks you.
Cool. They said the fuck to El... Not particularly. I'm not... God damn it. Don't know it.
Evaluate.
The shot could...
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
I considered her a good... What?
The hand slip.
Oh, that's a very...
The loot.
Okay, fine.
Glacia only said they.
She does know how to pick them. She reject... I knew that wasn't the whole story. Yeah, I was a little...
By the way, DeLorean trip.
Yeah, the girl see... Go ahead. And... Yeah, and who doesn't? It's very powerful. The view's pretty bombed. Yes, I'm sure. And any... No. So now I never did understand. No, I did not. Yeah? Where? How should I...
Those rings are buddies.
Who hasn't? He was still...
She eyed.
It's okay. All right. She sits down with a drink. Oh, yeah. No, she asked...
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What?
She looks...
Yeah. She asked...
She lied to you.
Yeah. As I keep... War?
She doesn't...
Fuck it. I'm not responsible.
So that's true.
Yes. You.
Through this fucking hell. It's especially bad suddenly.
Oh, yes, they do. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I...
She knows that about you.
Right. Sure. You don't know. I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You know what...
Wait, one thing.
Yeah, you had your death squad. Sure you do. I bet they're just outside, waiting. I guess I'll take my chances. Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had two guys, and one of the guys seemed chipper. That sound about...
No idea who these people are.
Well, this is...
She needs it. You better look.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been...
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell.
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself. Because you've been going around pointing a gun at yourself. No, wait. Finally. She flashes you an incredulous grin. Then she exhales sharply, shakes her head, and you watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
We are cops. Everything is our fault, if we let it be. Lieutenant Yefreitor Dubois, control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case, believe me.
There is no coming back from this.
Fuck! Our job. Okay, you said it. You need...
Police officer responsible for suicide of suspect renounces the RCM. Today, Officer Harriet Dubois, formerly a lieutenant of the Citizens Militia of Revachon, gives a candid interview in which he renounces the militia, his years of service, most of which he doesn't remember, and his own actions on the force. I'm no longer a cop. I wish I never was. No one should be, says Dubois, who has fallen on hard times after resigning. Fuck the RCM. Fuck duty, he adds. Continues on page 4. Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. It's like...
I know you can't say it's a pleasure.
As she says that, that's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it?
I'm using a pale light signal so precise at the up.
She likes telling you about the machine.
You're big. God damn, fine.
She's scared. Well, there's a be careful when you make your move.
I heard you so nice. This could have...
That's her.
No. Who ratted... Oh, but she couldn't have... Oh, how the fuck did I did it, like... What?
The strong moral couple.
I considered her a good friend, yeah. Oh, that's a very sensible...
The lieutenant.
Okay, fine.
Classy only.
If that's what she...
Really? Is that the...
Yeah. She I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine. I'll take it, yeah. The girl seemed terrible. Yeah, I was a little...
By the way, DeLorean tragedies...
Go ahead. Who doesn't? It's very... The view's pretty... Yes.
The what?
Man, I like... Wow. Now don't know it.
Evaluate.
The shot could...
She has a...
I didn't like him. Plenty of... You think I was envy... Yeah, sure.
I hate to be...
I'm listening. No. So now I never did understand. No, I did not. Yeah? Where? How should I know?
Those Rick buddies.
Who has it? He was still warm.
She
took it. All right, she sits down. No, she asked
you. Like,
what?
She looks...
Yeah.
She lied to you.
Yeah. As I keep warm.
She doesn't...
Fuck it. I saw...
So that's...
Yes.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the fucking hits especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein.
Oh, yes, they do.
She knows that about you.
Right. Sure. I'm sure La Budamad, you know what.
Wait, one thing. Possibly.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't one of the guys that sounded about...
No idea.
Well.
She needs it. You better make it move soon. Compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell. She looks at the machine as...
Oh, fuck.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other options. You need to give her options. You know. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives. She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth, eyes filled with dark intensity. Then something shifts, her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens. She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
Good call. I would have done the same, had I not been incapacitated. Her tent. We should check it out.
The plain red tent. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used to camping out. The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books, and a kerosene lamp. It reeks of cigarettes. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine. It's a leather notebook. You pocket the worn brown leather journal.
We should read this immediately. Like, right now.
The plain red. It was pitched by... A thick journal. It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name. Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. She's got good taste and must have taken whatever she recorded here seriously. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of it's ruled the large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently, perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely. She is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense? That name isn't mentioned as far as small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Puta Madre? M is great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head. while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? The call? Did M call her personally? Why? Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people, the boys, for example. But experience tells me, did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly. The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
It looks like she might have been framed. No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure. The head of a major Jamrock gang, specializing in drug production and trafficking. A very bad person.
He's not 100% sure you're not indebted to this very, very bad person.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than we does. Especially if she has problems with the Madre. Classy was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself, or... Either way, we need to keep an eye on her. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling in rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier. Hi, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty.
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty. It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the Corda Lacey red. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. How do I like it?
Water drips down eaves of eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there? I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
Maybe.
Above you, there forms a quilt of altocumulus clouds, twisting into each other. The wind tugs and stretches them over the bay. Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West. Wherever they pass, the temperature drops slightly, but perceptibly.
Have I told you how they discovered this place? No, they're in Celindian, Isola. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty. It's a pity. Most of these people will never know what this place means, this island of matter, or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location? Godspeed, Detective.
Thank you, ma'am. Do keep an eye on your boat.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Oh? Well, how can I...
Our tenant, the policeman.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Show me your hands. This is the pace. Show me your hands. Right now!
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand. Her hand is trembling from some sort of neurodegenerative disease.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
You shouldn't be here. Something's very wrong with her. She's completely out of control.
Failure to comply. Suspected.
Her eyes bulge with terror. Veins protrude on her.
I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. I'll tell you, suspect is on the loose. Suspect at large. Officer, administer street justice at our own pace. That one extra lick with a baton or extra knee strike above was what was actually required. Suspect is under control. Suspect is under control.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything.
You'll have to go for the gun sooner or later. Perhaps you can learn crucial facts. This is dangerous. You're 70% certain you always leave your gun loaded.
Officer, you need assistance! Suspect at large! Get on the...
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot! Big red key!
Big red key. That's code for the battering ram. Cop talk. You know this.
It's a goddamn police shitbag! Hug the pavement! You're under arrest!
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs?
Back up! Back up! Back up! Status unconfirmed!
No! Oh no. No. I thought Mr. Moran. Gareth!
Aggravated assault! Man down! Officers in pursuit!
There's a scenario unfolding in her head right now. It has nothing to do with what's happening here.
What's the situation, officer?
Law enforcement compromised! Impersonating a police officer!
Does she not believe you two are actually police officers?
License and registration! License and registration! Come in dispatch! Sector! Azimuth!
It's not a code, just disjointed words. She's losing it. One twitch and there will be blood.
Confiscated contraband! Restricted access! 2 kilos missing! Eyewitness report compromised!
I don't think she's on drugs. Being off drugs might actually be the problem here.
She's frantic, confused, teetering under all that gear. There's an opening if you just move fast enough. If not, sure, you're you. But how do we end this? She's not just gonna let you live.
Confined quarters! Assailant coming at me! Split-second decision!
In your peripheral vision, the lieutenant releases the half-squeezed trigger.
God, I almost blew her head off.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. This isn't real. Police guns have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
Grab the gun, right now. This...
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
This limbed and headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is grinding to a halt. Tired of walking the desert, it doesn't want to feel or think anymore.
Oh, we need to figure out what to do with her now.
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this. Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8, and loneliness. Could be. Her hands were trembling, and she did seem uncoordinated. But what are we gonna do with her?
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside...
I don't think there's any need for that. In her current state, and without the gun, we could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family. Then we can ask him once we get back to the whirling. But I think we're...
Please, leave the radio on.
Reflex to what? She stands motionless. Just a heap of clothes and flashes now. Maybe if you search her one... The woman stands slumped. She is one of those things a police cap. There were narcotics in there too. You're thinking of taking them. Do. The old woman doesn't react. She doesn't even flinch as you reach out.
Oh, is that yours?
The lieutenant nods.